You know, when a person improves their self-image, they change their entire life.
What you think about yourself is how you're going to be portrayed and also how you're going to move along this life.
Your experience of life is a direct result of your self-image.
You'll never outperform your self-image, so upgrade the belief before the plan.
Every one of us has an image in our mind of ourselves, and it's called a self-image. And we have to train our mind to think or look for the positive or the good in things. There's good in everything. Too many people don't know much about themselves, and so they don't have a very good image of themselves. They'll never try to do anything of any great consequence because they don't think they can. They have a poor self-image. Everything has its opposite. There's a right and a left side. You can think negative or you can think positive, but you can't think both at the same time. Person's out of work. They can decide to think I can't find a job, but they can decide to think I can. If they're thinking I'm going to find one, then they'll start attracting a train of thought to them, figuring out how to find it. You really have to understand how your conscious and your subconscious mind works in relation to your body or your physical world to understand attitude. Attitude should be taught as a subject in school ahead of reading, writing, arithmetic, or anything else.
I think everyone at some point in their life realizes they need to create a new self-image. So I'm going to give you 5 steps to go from the old identity that you've been running as a software in your mind your entire life to the new identity that you actually look up to. Step number 1 is to grab this old identity and define it as clearly as possible. What thoughts are constantly running in your head? What personality traits have you assigned to yourself? What negative things do you tell yourself, even if it's just from you to you? I'm bad with money, I'm not confident, I don't deserve love, I don't deserve a promotion. Whatever thoughts you constantly have throughout the day, whatever traits you feel like are stopping you from accomplishing that thing, you need to fully understand it before you rewrite it. So that's step 1.
It's changing who you are, because the key is you. Like, the key ain't a book. It's not like, this is just a tool. This shit is just to help you. You know what I'm saying? But really the key is you. It's about, you need to believe that you are the individual that has your manifestation, whatever your manifestation is. So let's say yo, bro, I want to make $100,000 a year. Okay. What version of you is making $100,000 a year? You need to become that version. What time does this nigga go to sleep? What time does this nigga wake up? How many times does he go to the gym a week? Does he go to the gym? You know what I'm saying? Like, get real descriptive with that version of you. You know what I'm saying? Because all you got to do is become the version of you that has those things. Once you become that version, ideas are going to start coming to you.
You'll never outperform your self-image, so upgrade the belief before the plan. You got the perfect strategy, but you've got terrible self-image. Guess which one wins? Your brain protects your identity, not your goals. Now listen closely, because this is important. You will sabotage every success that exceeds your concept of self. If you make more money than you think you deserve, you'll spend it. If you attract someone that you think is out of your league, you'll push them away. Your results will always shrink to match your beliefs. So stop upgrading your strategy and instead upgrade your identity. Become someone who deserves it first. The success will follow.
Step 2 is the same idea, but for your new self-image. Get as specific as possible on what does this new version of you think, but you need to be really specific. Not just, oh, I'm confident in the future, or I'm better with money in the future. No, I hold eye contact when I talk. I walk into rooms like I deserve to be there. I know how to lead meetings. I smell nice. People compliment me after I finish a hard conversation. Whatever it is, be as specific as possible so that your mind knows where you're going. Your GPS would not know what turn to tell you to take if it didn't know what the final end game was. Create a very clear end game.
The most important thing in the world is what you believe about yourself. You know, I used to get down on my knees and pray all those nice little Sunday school prayers for years, trying to get a God in the sky to do something for me. And I didn't get very much until I learned that God wasn't working for me from up in the sky, but God is working for me from within my very own mind. You see, the thing about people is they don't want to change their thinking. They don't want to change their minds. People want to change everything but themselves. But you see, when you get into your own mind and you get a hold on yourself, then God, the mastermind in you, will lead you and guide you and tell you what to do. Change this person, change that person. God changed this, that, and the other. But they don't want to change that negative thinking. Everywhere the Bible says believe, it means believe in yourself. It means believe in the power of God in you. When the Bible says believe in the Son of God, that's you. It means believe in yourself.
Do you know when a person improves their self-image, they change their entire life? Their income changes, their relationship changes, their health changes. And do you know how you do that? Start studying you. Start to find out more about you. There's something phenomenal about you. Do you know when I began to study this material 57 years ago, I had very poor self-image. I had low self-esteem. I took dumb jobs. I never earned any money. I never had fun. I had poor relationships. And as I started to study real solid information, everything in my life started to improve.
You feel anxious because your self-esteem is low. You don't need to change something outside of you. You need to change what's going on up here. When you feel good about yourself, when you feel worthy of that which you desire, things will just flow to you. Your life is going to be so much more easeful. So how do you raise your self-esteem? Well, this isn't something that takes months or years in order to do, right? It's like self-esteem isn't this mysterious thing that you need to work on for a long time in order to see results. You can radically up-level your self-esteem in a few minutes by doing the right things, right? Do things that make you feel good about yourself, that make you feel proud of yourself. Take a shower, clean your room, put on some clothing that make you feel good, right? Do the little things that you know need work in your life. Because when you neglect the small stuff, when you betray your own trust, when you do things that you know are not aligned with who you want to be, well, you begin to feel bad about yourself. You begin to kind of self-loathe a little bit, right? And when that self-esteem lowers, well, it's just a vicious cycle. Everything in your life is affected by it, okay? Your achievement in life is limited by your self-image. And if you don't see yourself as the kind of person who would get the results that you want, who's worthy of that success, well, you're never gonna get it. Okay, so before we go out and try to change the world, before we try to wonder, oh, I'm miserable, I'm unhappy, how do I get out of this? How do I change my psychology? It starts in our own houses. It starts in our own rooms. It starts in our own psyches, okay? Clean your room, clean your house, right? Dust the cobwebs off of your mind, so to speak. When you feel sexy, when you feel good about yourself, when you feel attractive and you're wearing clothing you like and you're doing the little things and your room's clean and all of that is in order, your life is gonna flow so much more.
Step 3 is simple, but it's probably one of the harder ones. Act as if. Every single time you're given an opportunity where it feels tempting to go to your old self-image, to avoid a conversation, ignore a red flag, don't check your bank account, don't do that budgeting thing that you learned about, whatever it is, try your best to act as if you already have that new identity and ask yourself, as if it's an alter ego, what would future me do in this moment right now? Because this moment right now is going to build future me. Future me won't just show up out of nowhere. Future me is relying on what I do in this specific moment, in this conversation, in this opportunity.
Your experience of life is a direct result of your self-image. Here's why this is so important and how you can use it to change your life. In the 1900s, one of the earliest plastic surgeons noticed that while the majority of people felt better about themselves after they had had a corrective surgery, there was a small subset of people who still didn't see the change, who still felt like there was something wrong with them. Because the people who didn't like how they looked had a self-image problem. It wasn't that there was a problem with how they actually looked, but about how they thought that they looked. Your self-image is a mental portrait of who you are and what you believe. And this extends far beyond how you think you look. Your self-image acts like a thermostat that's constantly bringing you back or trying to bring you back to what you identify with, to what you feel is safe. This is why a lot of people get stuck, is because their self-image keeps them in their comfort zone. Anytime they try something new or to be different, they get stuck being pulled back to what feels safe, to what they know. If you want to truly change your life, you have to learn to change your self-image. In order to do that, you need to look at the events from your past that caused you to learn who you are or who you think you are. Those things that people said to you that really stuck with you, those painful moments, these core memories that shaped a part of your personality. Because you have identified with who you were in those moments. Then the question to ask yourself is, why have you chosen to identify with who you were in those experiences? For example, if you think you're not good enough, you need to look back at the times when you were told you're not good enough, or you're unworthy, or when you interpreted that belief. Maybe you got bullied as a kid. Maybe you were really bad at sports and didn't get picked for the teams. Maybe you didn't have a lot of friends because you were different somehow. Or your parents put artificial limits on who you could and could not be. And then you internalized those moments as who you are, as your truth, because that is what feels safe for you. Once you've identified these moments, your task is to choose to see yourself differently. Writing it down, visualizing, telling yourself, this is who I am. Having conversations with those parts of you that are stuck in those moments of shame and unworthiness.
If you want to become a more popular, a more loving, a happier person, a healthier person, you have to begin to think over and over about those things until they become part of your new self-concept. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. It's an essential part of programming your mind for success. Your overall self-concept is determined by the average of your self-concepts in all the areas that you consider important. Now, your self-concept is made up of three critical parts. The first part of the self-concept is the self-ideal. The self-ideal is the person you would most like to be. It is your idea of what constitutes a winner. It is your vision or your mission or your ideal of the very best you that you can be. Now, one of the things that we know about successful people is this, is successful people have very clear self-ideals. They have very clear ideas of who they want to be in the future. Unsuccessful people have very vague ideals. Number two is your self-image. Your self-image is a picture of the way you see yourself and the way you think about yourself. Your self-image, the inner mirror, is how you perceive yourself now and determines your current performance on a day-to-day basis. The third part is your self-esteem. Now, your self-esteem is how you feel about yourself. How you feel about yourself is the engine force, it's the motor, it's the power force within your subconscious. It's the power force within the self-concept, and it determines virtually everything that happens to you.
Step 4 is what Dr. Maxwell calls mind theater. And that's when you spend just 5 minutes a day, maybe 10 or 15 if you can handle it, and closing your eyes and actually visualizing your future self operating their life based on all these new self-image rules, right? So you want to really get specific on what are you wearing in the future, how do you act, how confident are you, how do people respond about you, how the room smells. Be as specific as possible, because the mind cannot tell the difference between reality and vivid imagination. So if you are consistently imagining your future self, your subconscious will step in when it's time to make that image a reality the next time you have an opportunity, a conversation, a job, discussion, whatever it is. Your mind will remember all of the mind theater that you've been practicing and rehearsing and visualizing, and it will come in and provide you with the version of you that you need.
Okay, so most of y'all do not have issues with discipline. You have issues with self-image. You can't see yourself doing something, so it enforces a sort of comfort when you move along in life, because you can't see yourself doing it. Why bother trying, right? But this is how you fix your self-image in 2 minutes. If you want to be influential, charismatic, you have to see yourself as someone who is, right? Because the whole point essentially is, if you believe it, then you see it, and then you are. I mean, that's just kind of the breakdown on that. But always remember that your self-image is your destiny. What you think about yourself is how you're going to be portrayed, and also how you're going to move along this life. But number one, the theater of the mind, right? You have to visualize. You have to visualize yourself doing certain things, building certain habits, so then you enforce yourself to build them. Number two, disidentify with failure. Stop believing that everything is against you. Stop believing that, the reason why you couldn't do this was because of this. Stop identifying with it. Always win. And if you lose, it is a lesson to win eventually. De-hypnotize yourself from limiting belief. Stop believing you can't do something. You can do it. I'm not even going to go any further with that. Number 4, use the success mechanism. Focus on the end result and let your subconscious handle the rest, right? A lot of y'all are so focused on, I need to do this, before you even focus on the result. Well, focus on the result, and your emotions will control your actions, which will then get to the result. And number 5, last one, forgive and forget. Do not hold anger from the past. A lot of people hold resentment. It's bad for your soul. Just keep everything cool, calm, and collected, and everything should be fine.
And the fifth and final step is honestly one of my favorites. Write down all the proof. So every single time you take even a micro step towards this new self-image, if you had a conversation that made you feel really proud about yourself, if you led a meeting, even though your whole life you've been telling yourself, I'm not good at leading meetings, people don't listen to me when I talk, whatever it is, if you led a meeting at work and it went even decently, open the notes app on your phone and write it down as proof that you are doing a good job of heading towards your new identity. If you've been putting off a hard conversation with a friend and then you had the conversation, even if the conversation went bad, you did your part by having the bravery to have that conversation. Write that down as well. If you finally budgeted, even if it was just for a weekend of activities with your friend, write it down and be like, I finally budgeted. I'm no longer scared of some sort of financial visibility in my life. Write down all the proof. And that is essentially how you go from old self-image to new. It is not a linear process. Not every single day is going to be better and better and better. You may slip up. Your old image has been running as a software in your mind for however old you are. So give yourself some grace. Do not give up. Just because you slip back doesn't mean it's over. Keep going. That part's part of the process. You're going to do amazing.
How do you change your self-image? There was a guy named Maxwell Maltz, and he wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. In Psycho-Cybernetics, he talks about, he'd take these people who had wanted a nose job, and they'd have a big nose, and he'd fix their nose. They'd give them a Hollywood perfect nose. And he'd hold up a mirror to them after the surgery, and he'd be like, hey, what do you think? And they'd go, what, you didn't do anything to my nose. And he's like, look, here's before and after. Yes, we did. They couldn't see it because their unconscious self-image was so strong. Now, how does this relate to us? Well, we have certain limits about what we think we're capable of. We have these unconscious beliefs, this almost unconscious image of where we belong in a certain hierarchy. So let's say you're a musician, you play local bars. There might be something within you where you actually can't see yourself playing a larger venue. So how do you change that? Maltz was a big believer, and I am too, in visualization. Start to visualize yourself in these, in a larger venue. Start to visualize yourself as greater than you currently are. And you do it by making it real in your mind. You see yourself in the positions you want to be in. And this starts to program the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind, about who you are and how you see yourself. If you start to visualize yourself as someone who eats right and is super muscular, right, in great shape, and you just see that and you make it real and you step into it, you're starting to tell the subconscious mind and the unconscious mind that my self-image is this is who I want to be, and you act in line with your self-image. I used to work with athletes a lot, and athletes, for instance, might be very, very good in practice sessions or in pickup games, not real games. And when you get them to start visualizing themselves performing in real games the way they perform in practice or in pickup games, they start to get better. They have to break through that self-image of, I'm only good in certain contexts, or I'm only good against a certain level of competition.
If you want to rebrand yourself or reinvent yourself, here's what you can do in order to successfully do that. I've done it 3 times, from being in the music industry to being a military officer to where I am now in my life. I've used this. So here are 3 things that you can do in order to successfully rebrand or reinvent yourself. So number 1, you're going to get a piece of paper. You're going to split it in half. On one side of the piece of paper, you're going to put what your current brand is, what you do, what your habits are, what your income is, what type of car you drive, how you look. Get specific, okay? And then on the other side of the piece of paper, you're going to put what you want your rebrand to be. What does this person do? What are their habits? What is their income? What type of car do they drive? How do they look? Get specific with that as well. Then next to that, you're going to put the things that you need to do in order to do those things, in order to create those good habits, in order to drive that car, in order to have that income. What do you need to do? What is your plan in order to get that? Then weekly, you're going to do weekly check-ins with yourself. You can even have accountability partner if you want to add one. But from there, every week, you're going to look at the plan. You're going to create a plan for yourself every week to make sure you stay on top of what you need to be doing in order to fully transform into this person that you want to be, into this rebrand. Doing a rebrand is not hard. It's just mostly about a strategy. Putting a strategy in place and implementing that strategy and doing that strategy and making sure you're staying consistent with that strategy until you fully transform.
Most people think self-belief is just shouting mantras at yourself in a mirror, but it's not. I'm going to teach you how to really integrate self-belief at a neural level. First thing we need to do is program something called your reticular activating system. We'll call it the RAS. And what this is a pathfinder for your current beliefs. So let's start off with, I believe I can do X. Whatever that X is, make it for you. Let's say mine is, I believe I'll be very wealthy. And I was having a conversation with my mate, and he was saying that because his dad is wealthy, that he won't be wealthy because statistically that's true. But I found a statistic that said that if your dad's wealthy, then you'll be wealthy as well. Now here's the problem. He was looking for evidence as to why he wouldn't succeed, and I was looking for evidence as to why I would succeed. And that's the thing. There is a plethora of evidence on the internet to justify why you will or won't achieve X, Y, or Z. But what you choose to look for is going to justify that belief, and the stronger that belief is, the more action you put towards it. And this happens with everything. Imagine if a higher power told you, if you do that business, you will 100% succeed and make your dream wealth. You would do it without a second doubt. There would be no such thing as motivation or discipline. You would do the action because you believe it. The same way that a schizophrenic will run around everywhere running for his life because he thinks the CIA are after him. He did more action because he believed it to the fullest degree.